So now I'm going to talk about the minor themes of the sense of an ending by Julian. So first one is responsibility. So responsibility, the word is very easy to pronounce it, but it is very hard to if you are using or if you are applying in your life, because lots of people are trying to run away from these responsibilities, and whatever the things they have responsible for, that still they were not able to accept it as it is. So the responsibility is a plays vital role in this novel. With the character of Tony, we can connect it with it. So like responsibilities, like the question of responsibility, whatever there is a chain of it, or whatever we draw the concept more narrowly, I'm all for drawing it narrowly. This is sentence was we can use for the Tony, because the way we also, if we are applying this sentence to ourselves, then it's very important that we all are running away from some kind of responsibility, or we are ashamed of our lies and slight cuts of whatever we have done something wrong. We are afraid of it. It's like the same thing which happened with Tony. It is no surprise he is throughout the book he comes across as a coward happy man. Like from the beginning to the end, this kind of attitude Tony has. So he is always making excuses for something. He was never realized that he was responsible for something or everything. Like the same thing which only because of it. Many traumatic things which happen with the character of Veronica, Adrian, and another character were also damaged only because of Tony has run away from the responsibility. But in the end, he is no longer so sure about where to draw this line. It's like I look at this chain of responsibility, I show my initial there, and Tony's own responsibility for the events surrounding Adrian's suicide. And we can say that whatever the Tony has written for the Adrian in the letter, it wasn't a fair thing. So in that sense, the question of responsibility, whether there is a chain of it or whether we draw the concept more narrowly, this is the same thing which happened with it. Second minor thing is like connection and reflections. When I was reading this novel, I have read this novel 2 times to know about what is the relationship of the character and how the events were connected with one and another in first part and also in second part. So the Adrian suicide is a mirror of Robson, who hangs himself after impregnating a girl. Tony and his friends measured Robson's death by philosophical and aesthetic standard, and they are thinking about thinking that there is something is lacking to understand this all the chains and connections, because without reason nothing will happen, or we can say sometimes with the reason or without reason also happen things. So in that way, some of the characters like Adrian, Veronica, Tony, and Robson, they have a relation with some one and another. That is also indicate the connection and the reflection of their life in the novel. So the character here you can find it out like Robson's action had been unphilosophical and self-indulgent and inartistic. In other words, wrong, and his suicide not had missed a powerful educative opportunity. So Adrian's suicide, on the other hand, is not wrong at all, because it shows like the superiority of the interweaving act of over the unworthy passivity of the merely letting life happen to you, and unimplicit criticism of the everybody else. Like here you can find that the Adrian, but I have already told that Adrian is connected with the philosophy, and he was believing in the philosophy and always using it. So the way he has done suicide and he has ended his life, it is not it is a sophisticated, or it is not. If we look from the philosophical view, it wasn't a wrong decision for the Adrian to end his life. So Tony is jealous of Adrian's determination and consistency because when Tony was come to know that Adrian and Veronica had a relation, so from that point of time, Tony is started jealousing about the character of Adrian, and he was not like too much the character of Adrian as before. He was a very good friend. So I don't envy Adrian's that, but I envy with him for the clarity of his life. That is what Tony has told about Adrian. And there is a great unrest. This is a line which it's come into the beginning of the novel and the middle and at the last of the. This is a very important thing which covers the whole history, or you can say the whole novel of Julian Barnes. So there is a great unrest which echoes the beginning. This is the sentence. And where one of the students answered the teacher's question, like, how would you describe Henry the Eighth's region? With there was a great unrest, and some of the students have also given the answer of this question. And one student has described as a caution know nothing who lacked inventiveness of a true ignorance. And so also Tony and other classmates has also agree with this idea. And here the Tony, he is told that you don't get it, you do you? So with the last sentence of this book, the narrator admits that that indicate and also indicate that he never got it and he never will. And the third minor theme of this novel is like on Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex is a kind of a term, or we can say which is used in this novel. So Oedipus complex which reflects the relationship of son and mother. So this is the same thing we can find in this novel, like the relationship of Adrian and his mother, and another relationship also where this is described in this novel that you have to find it out. So Tony's twist reminds me the Oedipus and his search for the murderer of the former king. Like the same thing which happened in this novel. Like Tony who is searching for the what was the reason for the doing suicide of Adrian. That is a kind of a mystery goes from the second part of the novel. In first part, the suicide of Adrian was done, but the whole mystery to solve this all the things Tony always urging for it. And both the stories are tragic investigation into the past. In both the stories there is a curse. Like if we talk about it, then there was also curse given to the Oedipus to kill his father and to marry with his mother. Like the same thing which happened in this novel also. Here we can consider the curse as Adrian's letter given by the Tony. So this is a kind of a curse to Adrian, that Adrian has done suicide. So the letter Tony had written to Adrian is the both cases there is a warning of impending doom. Here not by the blind seer Tiresias, but by the Tony's ex-wife. This is all the things were propheted. So both the stories feature sex with the mother, and even though Tony is not Adrian's killer, and the outcome of this investigation is that he comes aware of its own role in Adrian's suicide. Here we can see that before Tony was not believing that he was responsible for the Adrian's suicide, but after when he got mature, because there was a difference between young self and older self. When anybody will got older, then they can judge themselves as what is the good or what is the bad. Whatever they have done, it was a good or bad. They can analyze those things. Which happen in this novel. So here the sex with mother is a kind of element we can also find it out in this novel, which is kind of a secret that afterward it will be revealed. And fourth minor theme is class conflict. So the class conflict is a kind of Marxist idea which is given by the Karl Marx. So here he was a father of we can say the some of the social movement, and Tony always felt uncomfortable that why he was feeling this kind of a thing, because is there any reason? Yes, there is a reason, because of a class conflict. Here the two families are given, like a Ford family and the Webster, and so the Webster is coming from the lower class and the Ford is coming from the higher class. So there is a conflict between both the class, Ford family and the Webster. So here the Tony and Veronica's relationship also, we can say that there will be only reason because of a class conflict. Tony has feel some of this shyness, or something is lacking in him because of a class. So here I given the photo which also defines the class, upper class, middle class and lower class, which is the American system, or we can say in foreign countries there were a class system, and now in India we have a class as well as a caste system. So Veronica's upper middle class upbringing, her well-tamed artistic pleasure and concerning music and visual arts, which is also indicate the richness of the Veronica, and how she is well in some of the things where the Tony was not. So Veronica's luxurious mansion lead Tony to question his own standard, because the class conflict start from the same thing. When anybody will start comparing about something, like here the comparison of a class, it leads Tony to the how he was lower than the Veronica. So this luxurious mansion, he's defined this thing. Her withdrawn and reserved manners towards him and his sense of inferiority brings their relationship to the end. May we can say that Veronica, when Tony is trying to physical with Veronica, at the time may Veronica got the consciousness about her class. Maybe this will be the reason for the broke up with Tony. So this is all about the class conflict, and whatever the class conflict we can find it out in the character of the Tony and Veronica.